have had the wonderful opportunity to capture the afternoon sunlight today. So I don't know if you know, but I'm an artist. I was born with partial limbs, so I'm missing my right arm, and my left arm is to my elbow. My legs are to my knees. But I love painting, and I've been painting since I was 21, and I'm 45. And I just thought that it might be nice to take you on a little adventure today as I paint. I am using watercolor, and honestly, I'm a beginner at watercolor. I'm not a beginner at painting, but I thought that maybe you would like to join me. Really, what I was hoping for with this is that you would be inspired to paint. Sorry, I just ate lunch, just making sure there's none on my face. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to put the, can you see my paper? Okay, there we go. Okay, that's kind of the best I can do with my current setup, but you'll get the gist. So we start with water. I'm just putting clear water all over my page. And that's always what you want to start with a watercolor. Hi guys, everyone that just joined. I'm doing some watercoloring. If you don't know me, I was born with missing limbs, so I paint with my arm, which is, I was born this way. And so really I hold the paintbrush between my chin and my shoulder and just guide it with my elbow. Hopefully that alone is impressive to you. Okay, so I put water on my paper, and today I'm just gonna do like basically I'm just going to be kind of abstractly painting. These are my watercolors. They are metallic, so they kind of get like a little bit glittery in the sunlight, which I love. So I'm just trying to situate here in a way that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. It's a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna start with just this sort of flat round brush. Hi, Patrick. Thank you. Every person is unique. Hello to Germany. Okay, so I think it'll be fun to start with bubblegum pink. So I'm just going to take this bubblegum pink color and start kind of letting it do what it wants to do on the page. So I'm not much of a watercolor painter yet. Okay, we're gonna get a little more water and add it. But this technique is called wet on wet, meaning that you have a wet canvas and then you use a wet, hello. You have a wet canvas and you use wet paint and a wet paintbrush. There you go. That's better. Okay, so now I'm going to, what that sound is, I wonder if I can get it in the shot. No. It's just, I'm getting the paintbrush, the paint off my paintbrush so that I can bring in a different color. And I want to add this sort of deep red as an accent. In the in-between. Just to give it some depth and interest to the eye. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, hi Francesco. I was born with partial limbs, so I paint with my elbow. And I'm doing watercolor. This is just a spontaneous abstract painting. We're just kind of let the paint say what it wants to be today. Hi, for those of you who just joined. I'm gonna introduce myself again. My name's Jennifer Adams. I was born missing limbs. So I'm doing some watercoloring today just to show the world that disabled people can be awesome artists too. And I hope that if you have an artistic ability that you'll get your canvas out and start painting too today. So this is what I have so far. We're doing an abstract today. So I'm kind of just letting my paint tell me what it wants to be. So next, I'm going to take this big brush and I'm just dabbing some of the water off on my paper towel here. And I'm going to take some medium green and just wash it over the canvas. So my canvas has already been, I put water all over my canvas. So something about art that I love is that it's such a spiritual thing. I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And I just think of watercolor as like, and just art in general. So now I'm thickening up the watercolor and just adding in some dimension. But I mean, painting just brings joy to me. If you're stressed out, like, I don't know, you just can't really be stressed when you're being creative, if you're doing it right. If you're being creative the right way. Okay, so I'm going to wash the green off, well, rinse it off in my water. Again, get some of that water off on the paper towel. And this time, I'm going to go in with purple. Okay. So we're continuing down the page. Purple. All right. I want to change the color for the very bottom of the page. So I'm rinsing that off in my water here. Again, dabbing excess water off on my paper towel. And this time I'm going in with a deeper purple. More like a periwinkle blue. Anyone who just joined, hello. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Jennifer Lynn Adams. I was born with limb loss, so I am painting today some watercolor paints, and I use my elbow and my cheek to paint. So, you know, I paint in my own unique way. I think of painting as a spiritual practice too. I am Christian. And it's just a way to relax and be creative and meditative. Think about God's goodness to get out of any stress that you might be feeling. Okay, so next I am going to take this smaller round brush and I'm going to return back up to the painting here where it's now damp instead of wet. And I'm just gonna start adding more dimensions to it. So I'm going to go into this dark green and just kind of add some texture to these green areas. Just by stippling the brush with a darker green over a light green. So if any of you are creative, you can get your paint out and join me. I'm doing a spontaneous abstract. So just adding some depth to the green section here with another green. Now I'm using that same round brush, getting the paint off. I'm gonna get some of the excess water off on my... Okay, now I want to add some depth to the pink up here. So I'm gonna go into this sort of dark red, like a reddish orange. Okay, I just want to add a little bit more water to my brush and just kind of start adding dimensions here. It's what I love about abstract is you don't really have to make it look like anything. It can just be whatever you're inspired, however it free flows from you. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my brush and just sort of soften these darker strokes here. I live where you can hear the beautiful sound of children playing, which just adds to the beautiful whimsy of this moment. A gift from God. Okay, so now I'm going to take the paint off my brush and I'm going to, now that it's damp on the lower part of my painting, I'm going to add dimension there. So in this purpley section, I'm going to add this hot pink color, this bubbly bubble gum pink. And just again add dimension. My heart in doing this is I hope it inspires you to paint too, to show you that if I can paint with my chin and my shoulder, you can paint with your hands or whatever it is that you have. If you're an amputee like me, I just want to encourage you that you can do anything that you want to, that you put your mind to. Isn't that nice? I love that. Okay, and now I'm rinsing my brush off again, getting some of the excess water off the brush. And then I'm just gonna go into, so this is sort of like a deep, or a periwinkle blue down here. So I'm going to go into a taupe brown, which seemed weird, but that's just, I mean, this is a spontaneous painting session. So I'm just literally going with my intuition. Kind of like that, because it gives a sense of almost like earthy vibes. Yes, I'm glad I went with this color. I live in the city, so you're hearing some city noises. Thank you for your compliment that I am painting beautifully. I appreciate that a lot. Okay. So now I want to do a technique, and it's called splattering. And it's exactly how it sounds. You take a brush with a lot of water on it. You don't dampen it or take the water off. Okay, what color? Hey, you guys that are tuned in, what color should I splatter on the paint brush, on the painting? Whatever color you say, I'll use. I'm waiting for you to comment. What color should I add as like accentuate as a splatter? No one? No one has an idea? Okay. So I'm gonna go with this really hot bubblegum pink. I think that'll be a good. So for that, you want to get a lot of water mixed with the paint. So it's really saturated the brush. And then you just splatter it. Needs even more water. Ooh, you guys see how it's... That looks good. I don't know if it's picking up where you are, but see how it's putting dots all over the painting? Okay. Now for the red area, I'm gonna use a bright green to accentuate it. So I'm gonna rinse that paint off, keep my brush saturated with water, and mix up the green. So my thought process is using the opposite color. So the opposite of red is green. So that gives it a nice abstract. See the green on there? Okay. I think that's good. I'm gonna just add a little bit here because this spot is sort of empty. Hi, if you're just tuning in, I'm an artist that paints. I am an amputee and I paint by holding the paintbrush between my chin and arm. And I love painting because it soothes my soul. I really like that. So since I like how that looks, one of the things about painting that you should never do is overwork your painting. So I like how that looked on that side. I'm gonna do a little bit of it over here, but I'm not gonna overdo it. I'm gonna try to make it so you guys can see. There you go. Is anyone new to the live right now? Did you just pop in? I wish I had a more sophisticated setup here. Go buy my art in the link, and then I'll have more money for a better, more sophisticated live setup. I'm working on a low budget here. Yes, I love the way that looks. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it a day. The only thing I want to change, if you guys can see what I'm looking at right here in the corner, this green kind of didn't splatter. It just looks a little messy. So I'm going to take a very small paintbrush and just dab some of the water off of it. And I want to go into the darker green here. Since it's such a small paintbrush, it will kind of make that dark green even darker because it will saturate the color on the brush. And I kind of just want to clean this spot up right here. Yeah. And then that adds some visual interest even to that section there. Yeah. Okay. So the only other thing I'm noticing is on this section, there's just a couple spaces that are missing, and they just look like they're missing something. So I'm going to take that tiny brush again and kind of do what I did with the green here, the green section here, and do that here in the purple and pink section. So I'm going to take this almost like creamsicle orange and add it into I need a little more water on my brush. Just kind of add it in these spots that kind of just look like they need extra care because they're just sort of empty. So maybe that's something to even make a note of with art. Oh, actually I want to use the fluffier brush for this because that's what I did for the green. Okay, get a little bit of the paint off, or the water. So we're going in with that creamsicle orange color, doing the same. So like even if it's an abstract art piece, you still, the one thing you want to think about when you're doing art is you want your painting to be whole. So that means even if it's not like a nature scene or real life scene, if it's abstract, you still want to look at it and say, that's a complete piece of art, you know, like that is a completed work of art. So that the beholder of the art doesn't say, that just something's missing, you know? And art is in the eye of the beholder, truly. Is anybody new to the live chat right now? Did you just come into the live? I am an artist that is an amputee, so I paint with my elbow, and I'm just showing people today how I work with watercolor. I'm actually kind of a new watercolorer, so welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself. So I'm doing a spontaneous abstract today. And what I love about that is it can truly be whatever you want it to be. So, or whatever it decides to be almost, you know? Okay, so with the orange I just added, I feel like it needs a little extra something. So I'm going to do a technique with it. So I just used orange, and I want to add to it because it kind of almost just looks like, something spilled and stained the paper, and I want to make it look like it's something intentional. So I'm gonna get the drier part of my paper towel here. Get industrious here, you guys. And I'm gonna take my big paintbrush. I'm going to get some of the excess water off of that paintbrush. And for that orange, I want to add, so I'm going to add this dark blue. So I'm taking that huge paintbrush and getting it, just the end of the brush, paintbrush, really saturated in that blue color. And I'm just gonna smush it. Yeah. See how that's adding some nice, it needs more paint added. If you're new to the live, I am an amputee, I was born this way, and I am doing some abstract watercolor. So I've got my huge brush here with blue paint, and I'm just smushing it. For it to add almost like a tie-dye look. Okay, let me get you in the frame here. So, smush. I don't even think that you could call this a technique. I just call it smushing. I'm just gonna do a little bit of the smushing through the center there, which gives it a really water feel. Cool. So do you notice how that took those orange spots that they looked like, they just didn't look complete, and it just adds visual dimension to it. It adds visual interest to it. A little bit more right here. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna do some speckles. Some speckles in between like this. Just to sort of give it a gradient and blend. This is truly what you mean, and this is the great thing about watercolor too, is that it's really intuitive. Like, you just try things, you know? Like, I've never done that before, but I just tried it and it looked cool, so I did it. And I don't want to do more, because you don't ever want to overwork. That's something I'm learning, is you don't want to overdo watercolor. Okay, I am gonna say that this painting is complete. I don't want to add anything else to it, just because I think it would start getting busy. So I'm trying to decide which is up and which is down for this. Because this looks like clouds, doesn't it? It ended up looking like clouds, and that looks like the pond. So I think it's actually, I started with it the opposite, but I think the painting goes like this. So I'm going to show you what I do when I'm done with a painting. I always sign it in the bottom corner, bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to take my small brush and I'm going to sign it with the dark green. So I initial it, J, A, and then the year, 2024. Ta-da! Okay, I am going to show you the painting. There it is. We did it, you guys. This is an abstract today. I'm not sure what I am gonna call it yet. Do you guys have an idea? What would you call this painting? Put in the comments what you want to call this painting. And it will be available in my store, which is in the link in my bio. I'll also link it to this when I post this video, so you can purchase it if you'd like to. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.